Hey guys, welcome back to the Strong Girl Goth podcast. We hope you are good. Today we thought we would bring you an episode about conquering gym anxiety.
Yeah, I think it's definitely needed at the moment. A lot of people do tend to step back foot in the gym or step in the gym for the first time in January. So it feels like the right time to have another chit chat about it. We've definitely done something like this before, I think, in previous episodes, because it's something that so many people do struggle with and battle with, and myself included. I've definitely been there where the gym's been a really scary place to be. And even now, to know if I go into a new training environment, I still from time to time can feel a little bit anxious, or if I'm just having a bit of an anxious day. So yeah, definitely we can resonate. And I think the thing that we're going to chat about today will hopefully just, even if it doesn't help you right now, hopefully help you in the future if you do feel a bit anxious.
So let's kick off with a bit of a reminder that everyone that you see in the gym, and I know they're really busy at the moment because it's January, but everyone has been a beginner once and everyone has felt that gym anxiety feeling. So if you are a beginner, or maybe you're not even a beginner and you're still feeling anxious about showing up for yourself, just know that everyone's been in your shoes, that you feel like are judging you.
Yeah, 100%. Like we all started from zero, right? Like we all started not having a clue how to perform an exercise, not knowing, what to do in the gym. We've all been there, and I think it's important to remember that it can be really easy to look at people and go, oh, like they've all got it figured out, but it's not the case. Kind of going off the back of that reminder, I think it's probably important to start with some of our own experiences. So pick us off, Ella.
Well, two kind of stick out in my mind. One was when I first ever started the gym, and the second was literally like last month. So the first one, I started kind of like doing more sort of weights and stuff in my room, literally in my bedroom. And I was like, right, build up the courage to get a gym membership. Went into the gym and I was like, whoa, okay, this is very different to my bedroom. There's all this scary kit. I have no idea to use it. And like, I'm sure you guys have been in the same position before where you'll like go and sit on a machine where it gives you the kind of like exercise instructions and there's a picture of a guy doing it. For me, that didn't help at all. So I was like, right, I need to do something about this. And I could only afford to hire a PT for 1 hour. And I said to her, girl, I need you for 1 hour to tell me everything. And she was like, I got you. And I was like, that is so good of her to be able to have shown me everything I needed to know to be confident in an hour. So one thing I would say is definitely seek help because people are willing to help you. And then the one that sticks out most recently was I'm quite like a neutrals gal, gym wear wise, black, brown, like very neutral. I wore like these pink leggings. And when I say pink, it was like a very like muted, not bright in the slightest. But for me, it was quite out there. And I wore this like matching set. And I felt really like anxious and embarrassed to take off my top, like take off my hoodie to show my outfit, which I think is a good example of no matter how advanced you are, like you say, Jess, like maybe you're in a new training environment. For me, it was people I know and people I see every day because it was my gym that I go to every day, but it was just a new outfit that was a bit out there for me that maybe would have made me stand out a little bit. That just made me kind of go back to that anxious feeling. But yeah, it's important to remember that everyone feels that way at some point.
100%. I went on a spa day a few weeks ago and I went into their gym. So that was a new environment, but it was obviously open for members as well. Like it wasn't just people that was visiting the spa. So I felt really anxious because I was like, this is very different to what I'm used to, very different environment. I train usually in more of a functional space, more of like a CrossFit box style. And it was a full commercial gym. So I was like, wow, this is a bit wild. But one thing that I did, and actually probably leads us quite nicely onto the first point and the little tips and tricks that we're going to give you. But it's I took myself to a part of the gym where I could see majority of the gym. And this is something that really helps me when I'm feeling anxious or if I'm stepping into a new environment. It's like put yourself, so for example, I put myself on the rower. And I know how to use a rower, right? Like that's familiar. So I took myself to something that felt familiar. And for you, that might be something like a treadmill because we're all familiar with walking. And it's a bonus if it's in a location where you can see a lot of the gym. So that's exactly what I did. Sat there on the rower for a little bit, was basically scanning the gym left to right, having a look around, like where do I need to go next? What's next on my training plan? Which we'll get into in a second. It's another key point. But like, where do I need to be in this gym and where is it? And it would just give me that like headspace to basically shake off the anxiety, because I was like, right, okay, this isn't a familiar space, but I do know what I'm doing. And it's having that confidence to be like, I do know what I'm doing. I can see where everything is. And as soon as I get off this rower, I know exactly where I need to go. And like, that took a lot of anxiety away. So yeah, we've even, again, like we've been going to the gym for years now, and Ella and I still get anxious, and especially again in some certain scenarios. So it's not something that will ever completely probably go away. Even if you're the most confident person in the world, if you are in an environment that is uncomfortable and a bit unfamiliar, I feel like unfamiliarity makes us all feel a little bit on edge. So it's normal to feel that way. I think starting that episode with that reminder is so important. But lead us on to your first point, right? You need a training plan, and we're not just saying that because we're coaches. Like, you can eye roll and go, oh, they're trying to sell to us again. It doesn't have to be our training plan. You just need some kind of plan of some sort, even if that is you writing a plan on a piece of paper because that's your preferred style, and taking it in the gym with you just to get yourself going. Then if that's what it takes, then do that. If you go in there and you do not have a clue what you are doing, you are going to feel so stressed, and you're going to cause yourself more anxiety than required. And that's exactly, again, taking it back to the example I was just saying about being at the unfamiliar gym, sitting on the rower. I was going through my training plan, like on my phone, and like, right, I know what I'm doing. And it's that confidence to go, I know what I'm doing. Like, it doesn't matter. That just honestly makes you feel so much better.
Yeah, I think definitely, because I think feeling that comes up a lot for me is walking into the gym and me having no idea where to go, no idea where anything was. So having a step by step, okay, now I'm going to go to the leg press. Now I'm going to go to the barbell, and having that step by step, okay, I know where I'm going, is honestly so useful. Otherwise, you do just end up walking around kind of aimlessly, and then you get caught short then because, oh, someone's on a piece of kit that you've just walked over to, or whatever it is. Just knowing that you have this plan to follow, and if one thing's taken, you just move on to the next and come back to it. It's more structured, so there's less kind of freedom of choice for your brain to go, wow, what is going on?
And technology is great these days, isn't it? Because I know, for example, the platforms that we use to build our clients' training plans on, you can have exercise demonstrations right there, ready, waiting for you. And I think that, again, is something that takes that anxiety away, because it's like, right, I'm on the leg press. Oh, let me just watch my little video of how I even do the leg press, because that's the next thing. It's like, okay, you know what you're doing now. Great, ticking one box. The next bit that comes along is, am I doing it right? Like, and I think it's important to remember that you might not always get everything right straight away. If there's a new movement on my training plan, even to this day, I'm like there in the gym trying to copy it on my phone, and sometimes I make an absolute tit out of myself. But no one else thinks that. That's just in my own head.
I think one thing I wish I knew when I first started is how many exercises and variations of those exercises there are out there. So
Yeah.
I would, for example, do a goblet squat and worry that I wasn't doing it correctly or I looked silly. But there are so many different ways of doing a goblet squat, whether it be a pause or whether it be with your heels raised. Like, there are so many exercises out there, and you might look at someone in the gym and be like, oh, what are they doing? I've never seen that before. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that you are not familiar to it. For example, I will sit in the gym and see people do exercises that I'm not familiar with or I wouldn't have on my training plan because we have different goals, and they're doing that exercise that I've never seen before because they want to get better at their sport or whatever it is. People do different exercises for different reasons. So I really don't think anyone's going to be looking at you going, oh, what's she doing? Because if people are in the gym for the right reasons, they are in their own lane.
Yeah. And I think that ties on quite nicely to, like, don't look at what anyone else is doing. From a point of, like, oh, she's over there doing a squat, let me do it like that. Because we're all built differently as well. Like, you know, the way that I squat will look completely different to the way that Ella squats in some respects, because we've got different body types. And, you know, it's just, oh, maybe we're squatting a different variation, like you were saying. So I think, yeah, it is really good reminder. Like, there isn't just one way of doing things. You are your own person. You might look a little bit different doing something to the person next to you. And then again, don't look at anyone and think, oh, like, they're so strong, or like, they're so much further along than me, because you've got to stay in your own lane.
I think comparing yourself is so natural, but also really hard to like deal with, because it's natural when you want to be getting better at the things that other people are doing well in the gym. So if I'm looking at a girl who's, you know, deadlifting X amount with really good form, I'm like, oh, I want to be like that. How can I do that? And you slip then really easily to like, oh, well, I'm not like that. Should I be taking up space? Should I be using the barbell? And I think, going on to my next point, nicely, you deserve to take up space in the gym. When I was first starting, I think I maybe came across a little bit underconfident, and like I was on the lat pull down, which is a machine, and this man just thought that he could go on the machine and kick me off it, just because I don't know why he thought it, but I was like, oh, no, I'm using this. But I had to remind myself constantly, I am paying the same membership as the people lifting twice as heavy as me. We all pay exactly the same here, and we all have the exact same right to use the equipment to take up space. I have people come to me now being like, oh, I'm really scared to go and use a barbell. There's not that many in my gym. I feel like I'll be like wasting it if I'm not lifting heavy on it. And it is just not true. It has to start somewhere. Just because that weight is lighter than others doesn't mean that it's any less valid to be using it.
Take up space, that you deserve to be there just as much as everybody else. But leaving on the last couple of points, the next one would be take somebody with you. Go with a friend, go with a family member or whatever. If that's going to help you, especially like in the early weeks, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of moral support. I know when I first started the gym and first started my journey, I started with a friend and we went together. And then when she decided to stop going, I had a choice at that point to like, do I stop going as well or do I continue? And I did, thankfully, decide to continue on my own. But I wouldn't have got to that point and I wouldn't have had the confidence if I didn't start with her, because we was able to go in together. I was able to learn the exercises with her. I was able to just kind of put myself out there a little bit more, because we're all more confident when we've got a wing woman by our side, right? Like when you've got someone there just to, I don't know, make you feel a little bit better, or if you make a tit out of yourself but you're together, you can just laugh it off.
Yeah, definitely having someone there, if you can, will definitely really help, because that just like, for me, I always say like you only have to build that confidence up once. So if you can, you know, get yourself a training plan, get yourself a coach, get yourself a training buddy, even if it's just for a little bit, whilst you build up that habit, whilst you build up your confidence and get used to the gym environment, then you'll be flying.
And find a gym that works for you. No one's telling you that you've got to go to the busiest gym in your area. Like, find a gym that works for you. I personally like the quieter gym. You've got to find the right gym that works for you. Like, there's so many out there, right? Get a few day passes or something. Go and try some different environments until you find one where you're like, no, I feel semi-comfortable here. I feel like this is a good space for me to train.
Yeah, and obviously this is coming from someone who lives in London, so I've got like lots of options, but do your research a little bit more as well. What I will say is like the gyms on the high street are not the only gyms. Like you might find like a little studio that's really, really welcoming, or it's like family run, or like, I don't know, it might be women's only. Like there are so many other options than just what you see when you are on your walk to work. Like you've got a lot there. So do your research, ask friends, and yeah,
The
try and
small
get someone that suits you.
the small studios and small businesses and stuff as well, they're always going to be more welcoming because they take more pride, I think, because it's like, it's not a chain run business. Do you know what I mean? Like, support small businesses.
Yeah.
But the only last point, kind of closing point, I would say is, it kind of leads on to the first point, but get yourself a training plan. And if you do have the choice, invest in a coach. It doesn't have to be forever. It could be for a short period of time until you get confident. That is how you are going to optimize your time in the gym. That is how you are going to make sure that you stick it out past January into February, all the way for the rest of 2025. And just having someone in your pocket when you need them is honestly just the best thing that you can do. So one of my clients last week was in the gym. She was having a little bit of a meltdown. She had a training plan on her phone, but she just wasn't feeling it because it required a lot of barbell work and things like that. And it was very, very busy in there because, again, January, it is typically a busy time. But because she could message me, I caught a while she was in the gym. I wrote her a complete new workout just for that day, just so she didn't walk out the gym. So she was that close to walking out. But because I adapted things for dumbbells and like just said, right, okay, today it doesn't need to be by the book. It doesn't need to be that session. Let's just make sure that the gym doesn't win, basically, and you don't walk out of there. And then she messaged after, like, thank you. Like, I didn't walk out the gym and I was really close to doing so. So it's being able to have someone in your pocket, like having someone in your pocket that you can even just message and say, oh, I'm here, I'm feeling a bit anxious. Like, can I just have a bit of a pep talk, a bit of moral support? And that's kind of why like online fitness coaching has become so popular now, I think, because you can have that cheerleader in your pocket.
And, you know, with coaching, like, of course, it's going to be the thing that will get you feeling the confidence the most, the soonest, I would say.
Yeah.
But even if it is just like knowing that you do have that freedom to, okay, I've planned to use the barbell, they're all taken, let's switch to dumbbells. There are other options. Like, you have so many exercises you could be doing. So try and just keep an open mind as you walk in, even if you do feel a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, but we hope this episode has helped you just feel that little bit better this January. Honestly, don't give up. Don't let the anxiety win. Don't give up. It will get better. You will stop feeling uncomfortable every single time you walk in the gym. Yeah, sure, we all have those days from time to time, but it will get better. And 90% of the time, you'll be feeling super confident before you know it. So you've just got to get through this stage because, again, we've all been there, and it's very uncomfortable at the time.
Yeah, it is. So just walk in knowing that everyone's been in your shoes before and you'll get over that anxious feeling. But yeah, we hope this has helped. If you can, please like and subscribe. Really helps us give you
Grow.
the best, grow and give you the best kind of conversations we can. So we hope you have a good week. Don't quit the gym just because you're anxious. You can do it. And we will see you for the next one.
See you later.
Bye.